It's been crazy. It's been like the most electric boot camp of all time. I mean, we just had Eddie Murphy there, which was like, I never thought I'd be alive to see that, see him come back, and just to be a part of it. It just felt real fortunate, you know. That episode was my favorite, I think, ever. Being in it, and also like as a spectator, because that's you're a spectator even as a part of it. You're like setting up things, and you're in the sketch, and then when Eddie comes on, you're just watching Eddie like everybody else is watching Eddie. Man, yeah, I don't know if he knows any other game to bring. I think he's only at an A game. I think that's it. Even watching him rehearse was hilarious. I've never seen like it's always a nice tale when people are rehearsing and you're cracking jokes, and you're having a crew who sees everything all the time before the crowd even comes, and they're dying, and like some people have that really big effect, for sure. But Eddie's like, I had never heard like the crew laugh so hard over and over about like in rehearsals alone. So we kind of all knew it was going to be a pretty good show. What surprised me is I didn't get fired, because I have not worked a job longer than a year and a half and not been fired. So this was nice for job security purposes. What also surprises me is like how used to the job you get, and we're not used to the job, but you get used to like working certain avenues of it. Like the first year I was mad stressed, and I was always nervous I would mess up in some way, and then you realize that, oh, it's a long game. It's kind of like a Hollywood inside of Hollywood, in which you have to, like, every week, it's like you're trying to work for a different part within the show, and you're trying to write your different parts in the show, and that part was surprising and very rewarding, because I've grown a lot as far as being a comic and writing for TV. So it's, I assumed that might happen, but you never know, because sometimes people go on a show and it doesn't fit them. It always surprises me that I'm like, oh, I'm good at that thing. This is dope. Oh, I can produce a sketch. Oh, that's cool. You know, so it's just like learning every day is kind of like a nice surprise. Once your sketch gets on, then you're like working with these different departments who are like the best of the best in the business to like see how a sketch is gonna look, and see like how your character's gonna dress, what kind of wigs you're gonna use. I'm big with like my characters having wild wigs. That's why like most of my sketches you can tell my sketch if I have like the wildest wig on. My second year I had so many wild wigs, like a lot of braids, a lot of stuff I can't grow in my natural hair. I put in my sketches. Yeah, I got a little landing strip right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't no braid coming down there no more. Not no natural. Yeah, Second City was a big part of it. It's like the foundation of how to make sketch, find character, find your voice within the sketch world. And between that, between the classes and between like touring and just going from city to city and constantly remembering material, improvising in front of like an audience of strangers, and then going to the next town and switching things up. It helps you prepare. But SNL is like that on like steroids though. It's like you never know, like the next day could change completely. You could have, I mean, your show could look like one way, and then by Saturday it's a completely different thing, and it constantly changes on Saturday too. So it prepared me for as much as I could. I think everything I've done has prepared me to like have a fighting chance at being good every week, you know. And then you just do the best you can and hope that people see it the same and stay off Twitter for that next 3 days. I liked it at first because I like roasting people, so I like going in there and seeing what people said and like talking back. So then you realize how many people live on Earth and have voices and Wi-Fi, and you're like, that's too many people, fam. I got a family. I gotta take some mental space for me. Yeah. Don't read the comments. That's what they say. I walked in. I told Lauren what it is, and he was like, I agree. No, I auditioned 3 years ago. 4 years ago, I auditioned for the first time. I had just got done doing a movie like the year before that, and they called me in. I went to audition like you audition for anything else, and I was kind of waiting to hear. there was like a little rumor that I got the show before I had heard about it. And like it was an online post, and they were like, "Oh, Chris Ray gets hired with Mikey Day." That's the day he got promoted, and I did not get hired because I was like, "Wait, I got hired because I'm hearing about this through Facebook, and that's not how I've gotten any job." They realized I didn't, and so then they kind of put me on hold because they thought maybe they would hire me again in that year, but I just didn't get the job. And so that next year, I got called in for just straight to callback. And I was like kind of bitter, and I went in and I just did my thing because I had been on the road I've been on the road now for like 6 years, so I was like, okay, if I don't get this job, I'll just go back on the road and keep doing comedy. And then I did my audition and I left, and then I was in Detroit, a little bit hungover from my show, and they called me, and I was in bed. It was a reasonable time to call somebody. I shouldn't have been in bed, but I was. And they called me and they were like, "Hey, you ever thought about moving to New York?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, for the right job, man. What are we talking about?" And so I got hired, came in there, and I was just, it's just they moved quick. They called me on Friday. By Monday, I was living in a hotel in New York. So you just kind of have to like readjust your whole life while you're at work and getting ready for the first show.